Hi, I'm Carole Robinson. Welcome to County Happenings, where we talk to the county mayor, Rogers Anderson, about what's happening in the county.
How are you today?
I'm okay, thank you.
So the show's being taped during the rodeo, and I'm tired. I've been already at that rodeo. It is unbelievable.
I went Wednesday down in the dirt with the kids, and they got down in the dirt.
Well, there is no question that there are people that still love that rodeo.
Yeah.
And particularly the kids. And you just take all of the, well, it's every event in Williamson County. No matter what it is, there's a crowd.
Yeah.
People like to be entertained or see events. And
This is a social county.
this is a very, but I think it's social Middle Tennessee. You look at Nashville and all the events they've had, the NFL, and I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of people they said, but this community, from the church socials of barbecue and pancakes and activities, Main Street, rodeo,
Elvis,
fair, you name it, it's here.
And people, and it's wonderful that people want to be out and about.
Hard for me to find time to garden.
I know.
This time of year, trying to get my garden out and keep the weeds out of it, and a few rabbits.
Oh, you got bunnies, huh?
I don't know how I'm gonna keep all those rabbits out. But,
We got a dog, and we've got rabbits in the strawberry
I've
patch.
got a dog, but that dog just kind of looks at him.
Yeah.
He just kind of rolls his eyes. And
Ours is if the only time he chases them or does anything is if they run. And if they're smart, they say hunker down. He doesn't bother them.
Carry anything about him.
No. So things going on in the county too. The budget it's looming. You're on the
wrapping it up.
You're on the countdown.
So as you know, in July is when the actual date. Right now, the budget is calling for a small tax increase. It's all the result of the schools and the growth we're having. And it's all from the operational side, not the capital side, but it's still an increase. We'll see. As we get a little closer, we've got another 45 days. In July, on the second Monday, we meet. That's our all-day meeting, and that's when it's actually official. So we know there'll be some more Nashville money coming down, and hopefully we can get this thing trimmed down even a little bit more. The Budget Committee, chaired up by Steve Smith, has done a good job. The Education Committee within the County Commission, they've really scrutinized it, but it's just hard to continue to offer the services and the program. Nobody likes the tax increase at all, but there will be a tax increase this year. Don't know the exact number, but it'll all be because of the schools.
And
It's been a while since we've really had one.
yeah. But it's not only, now the schools take up, what is it now, 68 to 70%?
About 65%, and then the debt side, which is like your mortgage and my mortgage, we call that the capital side, the bricks and mortar.
Yeah.
The operational is, once you put the key in the door, it's everything that goes on, the teachers' salaries and all that. And we are addressing, I'll say this, Dr. Looney, of course, by the time this show airs, he will be in Georgia. But Dr. Looney and the assistant director, who is the acting director right now, Jason Golden, they've just addressed some of the pay inequities for the teachers and the classified people here in our county. Hopefully we can avoid what's going on throughout the United States in other areas. So they are addressing the pay inequities in those hard-to-find positions, your sciences, your STEM programs, your math programs, and it's trying to look and hit that thing head on before teachers leave. Now, there is a pretty good pool of people, young teachers that are just getting out of schools like Murfreesboro, which MTSU graduates more teachers than anybody across the state, even the University of Tennessee.
Really?
The numbers are down in the college children going into the teaching profession, and I think there's a lot of reasons. We could talk about that in a whole show, but the numbers are down over the last 5 or 10 years. And I think part of it is pay, and I think part of it is the extra hard work that it takes to be a teacher. So therefore, you've got your assistants
Right.
helping you, and some of the special needs children that are requiring more and more attention. There are several of our special needs children that require a full-time assistant with them every single day that they're at school. And that's hard work.
Right.
It's hard work on the parents, it's hard work on the teachers and the assistants, but all of that results over into pay. And it's getting, Dr. Looney and the school board thought that, there need to be some adjustments, not on the base pay, the front end pay, what you're hired at, but as you progress more into the 20, 25 years, being able to retain those teachers with that experience. I mean, the backbone of our education system is the teacher.
Right, and the retention of the teachers,
And
so
the
that you have the
retention, yeah.
consistency.
I think it's a great place to work here in Williamson County as a teacher, as opposed to maybe some of the other areas, mainly because we keep our schools smaller in size, so you don't have the discipline issues that you do in some of the others. But even saying that, a teacher's job is a very stressful job from the time the bell rings in the morning to the bell rings and they're engaged, they're on duty. And all of us entrust our children or our grandchildren to these teachers. So part of that increase is to go for some of the teacher pay inequities that that they are addressing, and the budget committee felt strongly about that too. Some of the inequities are also just in growth numbers. They're expecting 1,050 new students coming in August beyond what everyone graduates. So we're going to be at about 41,000 students now. We're at 48, and we're opening for sure one new school in the next fiscal year, and that's out on Arno Road, off from Arno Road, called Goosey Hill. And there's a name for that school, and I'm drawing a blank what it is right now. And that will put the school number count at 49. Wow. And then
And that's an elementary school?
that is K-8. And so if you could drive down Goosey Hill like you're going to, you drive down Arno Road like you're going to Page, you go out there about 3 miles, and Goosey Hill intersects with Arno, and so turn right and you'll see it. It's about 100 yards on your right. And then the other area that we'll be building a middle school is on Hembeck Lane,
Okay, over near Oakview.
next to Oakview. We've owned that land for a long period of time.
I remember, yeah, that was always planned to
Gene
have a middle
Keith
school.
was the school chairman at that time, and they bought that land. But our thinking that sewer was going to come out, the school that's on Oakview, on Hembeck Lane, is on a wastewater treatment plant. So we have to treat the byproduct, and then it acts just like your septic tank and mine. But you can't put another school, a middle school, on that treatment plant. It was designed for so many kids.
Right.
And of course, that school's been there probably going on 30 years. And so we were waiting on Franklin to run the city, the sewer down through Lewisburg Pike or over in that area of Barry's farm, and so they will be there. So you'll see a new middle school, the dirt being pushed over there just in the next few months.
And it's been a long wait, because they've needed that middle school over there for a while.
So they are looking for land out in the Triune area. They haven't identified any that I know of, and then they're looking for another school, probably in the Spring Hill Thompson Station area. The school we opened in Thompson Station 2 years ago, maybe 3, it's full capacity. And we build the schools that it takes us.
If you build it, they'll come.
Yeah, Yeah, they really do. Well, I mean, each school, a high school costs right at 65 million.
Wow.
Middle school's around 40 to 45, and elementary is 30. And that's just the bricks and mortar.
That's not filling it up.
It's not, yeah. When you put the key in, it's 2.5 million,
Mm-hmm.
2.25, 2.5, 2.25 to $2.5 million. Open the door, staff it with the teachers and the things, and et cetera, et cetera. So we will soon go over 50 schools in the next 18 months.
Wow.
Which is a far cry from when you and I moved to this community
Yeah,
a
and there
long
was-
time ago.
9.
9 or 10,
Yeah.
and they just, so the last high school we built was Nolensville High School. It's up and running, doing a wonderful job. We opened STEM's building, which is a science. I may need some help on this.
Science, technology, engineering, and math.
There you go. It's between the Brentwood Middle School and the Brentwood High School.
That's that building.
That's the STEM's building.
Okay.
And there was a parking lot there.
Yeah.
And so it's a 3-story building or a 4-story
Yeah.
building that looks right directly over the goalpost of the high school football field.
Yeah. I drove by it the other day and I go, when did they move to high school?
So it just almost everywhere in our county there's some kind of growth within those city limits. And the growth in the county is steady on the unincorporated. I say the growth in the county, people may not realize we distinguish between the city limits of our 6 cities and then the growth in the unincorporated area. And so
Well, and for a while, it was all the growth was all in the cities, but now it's reaching out into the county.
it is, in fact, we're having, as we talk, public meetings. We're encouraging people to go out to express your opinion. It's under the area of comprehensive growth plan. And 1988, around that period of time, we have a regional planning, and that determines how your unincorporated area is going to look. We made a revision of that in a little after the turn of the century in 2000, so we lived with the first one for about 14 years, 15 years plus. We made a revision in about 2003, 4, or 5. Then we've made a few tweaks along the way, so this is the first attempt to really crank down and say, okay, how do you want Leapers Fork and College Grove, not so much Leapers Fork, but College Grove, Triune, Grassland, how do you want your community to look out into the future for the next 10 and 25 years?
And this is a chance for the community to actually have an
Absolutely.
input. This is not something, the community can define how they want their community to look rather than having the county define.
That is, we've engaged some professional people. Actually, has been around since the day one of this, and we have some models that we will put out on the table. But over the years, where we've tweaked our plan, for an example, up in the Grassland, Leapers Fork, Triune, each of those little communities will help us to say, well, we don't want this type of business there, we want these. And some say, well, nothing. Well, if you don't have anything, whatever's on the plan, so you're really restricting what types of business. We'll also, in the unincorporated area, there'll be communities that want to enlarge the footprint. Most of our land in the outlying areas of the county, there's a few 1-acre lots, 2-acre lots, but the majority of them are 5 acres or larger.
Yeah.
And some communities, some landowners choose to have a larger footprint, and that helps your density. If
Right.
if it says, okay, you can only have one house per 25 acres, that pretty well defines it. But that's up to the owner of the land. The county can only vote you want to do what your constituents want.
Right.
So once it's put in place, 1-to-1, 1-to-5, 1-to-15, 1 to whatever, then that's how people moving in have to build their house.
Now, I had always thought that out in the unincorporated areas, you had to have a minimum of 5 acres. And I'm just learning in the last couple of years that it's been reduced. But because I know when we moved here 100 years ago,
You're not that old.
it was a minimum of 5 acres because of the septic system and wells. Now, how has it been able to be reduced?
Well, you answered one of them, and that the availability of water through our utility companies, and there's, I think, 7 utility companies to service water. Now, we still have a lot of areas that are on wells.
Yeah, I'm still on a well, and it's
But the newer subdivisions, they're serviced by water, maybe HB&TS, College Grove. Even Franklin's water system goes outside the Franklin city limits. For an example, Cottonwood is on Franklin's water system. So that helps to control. The community, though, as a general rule, they tell us that they're okay with 1-to-5 or 1-to-1. I happen to live in a subdivision that has a varying degree. I have about 2 acres, but the neighbor across the way, I think he has 8. And then somebody up the street has 10. So it varies from where you live, but that's what this comprehensive plan would allow you to do. Some of our farmers, some of our large land, I won't call them farmers, but some of our large landowners are not interested in selling their land, and they could care less.
Right.
They just leave it 1-to-25 because I'm not going to sell it anyway. There has always been kind of an underlying conversation that if you brought it 1-to-1, 1 acre per house, or 1 acre per 5, that entices development to come there. We're finding now some subdivisions with the larger tracts, that's what people want. Now, you go to College Grove at the Grove, the new subdivision, those homes are not quite 1-to-1, but they're on a treatment plant. They're paved roads, they're curbed roads, lots and lots of services. So not everyone's like you and I that wants 1-to-5. Some just want 1-to-1, and they really don't want to be bothered with
taking care of that land.
taking care of that land. So it has changed over a period of time based upon what the community feels is the best you can. Having 5-acre lots oftentimes sounds good, but at the same time, a developer will build, if it's 1-to-1 or 1-to-5, they'll price that land and those houses based upon what that community says. But if it...
Well, in Williamson County, land is so expensive.
That's it.
I mean, by having it 1-to-5, you're guaranteeing that it's going to be
A little more affordable. But, we're such, and I know you're huge in this, just like I am, we're such a property rights county and state. I guess Texas is a little bit more stringent than us, but Tennessee is pretty tough.
Yeah.
And so when a landowner who owns 50 or 100 or 1,000 acres, they have rights just like you and I have rights. I've heard many times in my office or on the phone, somebody coming, I don't want that subdivision to come to our community. I enjoy seeing the deer. I enjoy seeing that beautiful pasture out there.
Then buy the farm.
Then you got to buy the farm. That's the only way you're guaranteed. Many large landowners, they do not want to sell their land. But by the same reason of people growing here, the price of that land has gotten to the point that may be their retirement. That may be something they can leave to their children. Others would argue, well, leave the land to them. Well,
Are they going to take care of it? Do they want
Children
it?
may not have, they may not want
Yeah.
to keep that land. So it's a real complex issue. It's not a problem. But that's the importance of going to these public meetings so that you're heard. You may have, I mean, I know your children you're having grandbabies just like I am. But my children want to live in this county. I don't think that, I don't have any of my children wanting to work the land. You know, I can't even get them to come and help me with my garden. Now, if I'll grow it and pick it and cook it and serve it,
Yeah.
they'll eat it. That's not true. But,
Well, please, if you grow and pick it.
yeah, grow and pick it. But, and I've got, out of the 9 grandbabies, I've got one that likes to get her hands dirty. And you can
it's a
tell.
girl.
And it's a girl.
That's funny.
The 2 grandsons, I don't care anything about that, Papa. But, I'm not trying to make them farmers. I'm
Right.
trying to teach them it's okay to get your hands in the dirt.
Well, and it's also for me, and I'm fortunate because our daughter is the one who loves the land, and she would love to. As a matter of fact, we were talking about this recently. What happens to our place when we can't take care of it any longer? And she would love to have it, but and the boys love to get their hands dirty, and they're right in the dirt, but. And they would love to live in Williamson County, but they can't right now.
Yeah. So it's a two-edged sword, and we spent probably way too much time on it, but.
But I think it's important for people to
is.
understand that you can determine your community.
Yes.
So get out there, and when you, and it's usually at least 2 or 3 meetings.
Oh, yeah.
So your first meeting is getting introduction and getting out finding the skinny and what you can. What's possible and what's not possible.
How it's zoned currently.
Right.
You may want to leave everything the same. That's great.
And there's one meeting and you're done.
That's it.
But this is an opportunity to speak, and you don't get that opportunity very often.
Well, and there's a sign, and I don't want to cut it short, but there is a sign that we're seeing more and more people that are interested in history and preserving. Now, Franklin, for an example, well, all the cities, well, maybe not all of them, but Franklin for sure is in preservation.
Right.
And there are ways that you can do historical preservations in unincorporated areas, whole blocks of land. And you don't have to do the whole county, but you may have, for an example, out in Leapers Fork, that may be an area that they're very bullish on saving
Right.
and preserving.
Yeah.
And-
You don't see too many of those old houses getting knocked down
No.
out there.
And they want it that way. But to them, that's their selling feature for their community.
Right.
And we're seeing more and more of the communities that want to preserve these old homes and old areas. And if that's how they want it, then we can vote appropriately so that when the developer or the next person comes in, they want to do something. Now, you got to follow the rules.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's the standard, I call it. I gave a speech here recently that was talking about standards of when you're. It's called the Standards of Baseball Diamond. I read it somewhere. The baseball plate is 17 inches. That's the width. When you're a pitcher in the Little League, Babe Ruth, high school, college, and the pro, that plate's dimensions are always the same. So
No
when
matter how big you are.
how big you are. And if you can't get that ball over that plate, they don't pull you aside and say, well, that's okay, we'll make the plate bigger for you. It doesn't work that way. There's a standard. And we're seeing more of these conversations around what's your standard of your community? What's the standard that you're trying to establish? And you don't always have to, that plate has never been enlarged since baseball came out, is my point. And I was telling that to a bunch of high school graduates, that some things are changed, but some things are not going to be changed.
Right.
And whatever that standard is, it's probably going to stay there.
Yeah.
We need to touch on some more. It's got about 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah, we do. We have, The state of the city, or state of the county
State of the
message?
county's in July. Census, very important to us, Carol.
Yep, census.
We have to do it. It's an act of Congress. You over here say, well, is that
Yeah.
an act of Congress? It
Yes,
is.
yes.
It's required every 10 years by the federal government. And so we need workers. If you're interested, call the mayor's office, Joe Horn's office. We need more workers
And it's
to
a
get that
great way
work.
to get out and meet your neighbors, and meet other people in the community.
And most of it will be done online, but there
Mm-hmm.
are some people that just do not have access to online, or they don't want to do the survey. Well, why is it important to counties and cities? That's how the distribution of money comes
Yeah.
back to your community.
Think tax increase.
That's right. And the more money you get from the feds to come back into your community, it's based on population.
And then the
Voting
less after
district.
tax increase.
That's right. Voting districts, regions, all of that's determined in the next 18 months for the next 10 years.
Yes. And so be a part of it. I've done it before twice, and it was fun.
It is, it's not bad.
Yeah. Then Memorial Day will be passed. School. I think we've covered everything.
we get it all in?
I think we
Great.
did. Animal control, the new
Animal
center.
Control, we're gonna build a new center, be on Old Charlotte Avenue, and we've had some conversations. As you know, Andrea Johnson is our director. Our save rate is 96% month after month. She's doing a wonderful job. So we're gonna build a new facility. The one we have is 30-plus years old, not enough room. We've grown from the time you and I got here, 40,000 people, to we're 230,000 people, and we have lots of cats and dogs and potbelly pigs and you name it, and programs. And so the success of your shelter is the ability to adopt out.
Right.
And the programs we're using now are just life-changing. So it would be great to continue on that we have 4,000 4,000 dogs and cats that come into our center every year.
Wow. Wow. That's a lot of dogs to recycle.
That's a lot of dogs and cats. So we do a lot of spay and neuter.
So,
We've got about a minute left.
yeah, well, what are you going to do this summer?
Well,
I know there's a little something called the fair going on.
yes, the fair will be here. That starts first Friday in August. The crew will be there. Be hot, be great times.
Yeah.
We started the show with activities. We might as well end
Yeah,
it with activities.
and it'll be a big one. And so circle the date on your calendar, the first Friday in August and it runs 9 days, Friday to Saturday. And it's a fun time. I'll be there every day, and so will you.
I will be there.
And we'll see you next time on County Happenings.